That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
It's crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Isn't that weird? That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 205 of Camp Strange. I'm your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm your other camp counselor, Johnny Hamcheck.
And we're back to bring the spooky, wacky, weird, strange, and true crime.
Wow.
That just fits too well, but my story's going to make... That word's going to make sense of my story, so
It's
just...
kind of a snooze fest.
Okay. Yeah, David wouldn't tell me his word. He says he's very protective of it right now.
Yeah. It was true crime.
Away. It was true crime. Okay.
Yeah, that was my one
Good to
word.
know. Well, we're back after an unrealized hiatus, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah. I was out of town 3 weeks in a row, and
You also texted me, and you're like, were we supposed to record this week? And I was like, oh, fuck, I think we were.
I was actively in Nashville when I sent that text.
So it wouldn't have worked out anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we're back now. And
We're back. And you know what? It's the beauty of owning your own podcast that loses money is we can we can really do whatever we want, and you can't complain.
yeah, just be happy. Just be like, more, sir. And then we're in Nashville going, more? And I'm a big fat guy in a hat.
Trying not to vomit because that whole city smells like puke.
Wait, I like that city.
No, it was an awesome place. I loved it, but it was hard for me to be outside because it just smelled like puke.
You just mean like the general aroma in the air is because you were on like that main stretch in Nashville where everyone's throwing up?
It was probably because I was on the main stretch.
Yeah, fair enough. Jason Aldean has a 3-story bar. I went to that.
Yeah.
And every floor had different music on it.
Yeah, the music was fun.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway. So David had a really nice time while you guys suffered from not hearing our voices. So just keep that in mind before you leave a bad review.
Hey, the week before that I was with you, so.
Also, I feel like I have to explain we got a bad review.
Oh yeah, I should probably talk about the bad review. Which is a good reason that everybody who listens should leave us a good review, because the bad review was a bunch of hogwash.
It's horse shit.
It's a goddamn lie.
So, long story short, my buddy, he also has a podcast, a more famous podcast than us, and
yeah.
He was interviewing somebody who is in the political sphere, and in that we had some people who are on the opposite side. You just call them Trump Republicans. It's fine. And they were talking shit to my friend, being like, I used to be a fan. Then you had this guy on, and now you blew it. You brought politics into sports or something like that. And I'm just like, brother, they didn't even talk about politics. Long story short, I jumped on the. I wasn't going to use my own account.
You used the wrong Instagram account.
No, I used the right Instagram account because I was too afraid to. To use mine, but I jumped on the Camp Strange Instagram account and I started going toe to toe with them, and I was like, says that he's like leave politics out of it. I'm like, says the guy who has like all these like MAGA posts on his profile and something like that. I said, go slap a skull sticker on your car and call it on your truck and call it a day. And I was just kind of playful, giving him playful banter. Nothing like really mean, to be completely honest. Just kind of like clever little comebacks. He went to our wait. Can you pull it up? What he wrote?
Give me a second.
He literally made me sound like I actually was like attacking him and his family, and I was like, brother. He called me a snowflake, and I was like.
Which is so funny because he did the biggest snowflake move ever.
Yeah, and anyway, like we're very I think we're liberal, but we don't care what political affiliation you are as long as you're a good person. This guy was just a dickhead being rude to my friend, so I went toe to toe with him, and he David.
Okay, so
right here.
The guy commented in all capitals, "No one gives two poop emojis about politics, especially this ass clown emoji. I don't care who the political party represented was nobody wants to hear politics on a fantasy football podcast. This was garbage. And you said, hey, everyone, he doesn't care about what political party it is. He just hates politics being brought up. Don't click his profile. It's not full of political posts.
I just meant to read the review, but yeah, if you want to read my retorts, I'm okay with that.
Well, yeah. You wanted the review. I thought you wanted me to pull up what you said to the guy, and then he tagged you back and said #triggered, and you said, my brother in Christ, you made your profile private after I called you out. Go put a skull sticker on your car and call it a day.
Fuck that dude. #triggered.
No, the better comment for sure was the one that the guy said, LOL, the minute any athlete or celebrity endorses Trump, the internet has a fucking breakdown. But yes, I'm the soft one. Also, it's tongue in cheek since nobody minds marching the libs around. And you said the only time you're tongue in cheek is when you're molar deep in Trump's diaper butt bag. Dog.
Got him.
Okay, hold on. Now I thought you wanted. Okay, let me pull up the actual our 1-star review we got from this lovely individual.
And the only reason I brought up the review is because I don't want somebody to go into our profile looking and making it seem like we're like attacking a man's family. I'm like, dude, I do not care about your family.
Yeah. So this comment left by Thin Blue Line 72. I wonder who that is. They said they called us bullies in the headline, and then in the body it said, made a negative comment on their show once. They sent me and my family DMs on social media harassing and bullying us. Pure trash.
That's so not true. That is like, I can't. That got sent to our group text, and I was like, are you kidding? Like, I was like, I'm like, I told him, I was like, I dare him to cancel our podcast. It would save me money.
Money and time. Energy.
But we do it for you guys, okay?
Yeah.
So we want you to find where this guy lives. And we're just joking. Don't do it. We're just joking. This guy is allowed to have his opinion. And guess what? Maybe we are bullies.
Maybe we should start bullying him. The only problem is I don't know which one left the comment because you replied to a few replies. Yeah. So maybe we should just try to like attack all of their families.
Everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. This is good. We should do this.
Well, what's funny is like it's Thin Blue Line 72, so they more than likely born in 1972.
But I don't believe somebody who's born in 1972 knows how to leave an Apple review.
I know, but that's just funny to think that someone of that age would go to the limits of making up a fake story to leave.
Yeah. That's the thing. If it, like, I was expecting the review to be like not funny. They think they're so funny. They get off track too much.
Yeah.
Alex, he thinks he knows too much. He thinks he knows everything. David clearly doesn't know enough about the stories.
he's asleep halfway through the episode.
Alex is a know-it-all. David is a know-nothing. Fuck them. Hey, fair enough. That's
fine.
Like, he didn't even listen. Yeah. He would have loved us. Because that guy's a bully, and we're bullies. And there's one thing I know is bullies get along, and then they all join a frat together, and then they haze a kid until they kill him.
Hey, I was in a frat. I can confirm.
But until then, until we form our adult frat when we're 50.
It's called an Elks Club.
That is a fucking adult frat. Yeah, okay, I like that. We get to wear those stupid hats.
Yeah. No,
they
they're
wear
cool.
Fezzes.
Yeah, it's cool.
I've never seen an elk wearing that. They should wear antlers.
That'd be cooler.
And then just like run in front of cars.
Yeah. I don't think elks do that. That's more of a deer activity.
1 out of 5 stars. This man killed himself in front of my car.
Totaled my Volvo.
That's good. Okay, should we tell you about these news stories we have?
Let's do it.
Okay. I got one right here as North Korean troops have been allowed access to the internet and they're addicted to porn.
Shocker. Did you see they killed like 12 kids because they're playing League of Legends?
Wait. What? Wait. none of this makes sense. What you just said.
Yeah.
That's a computer game.
Yeah.
How did they kill them?
They found the North Korean government found out that there's like 12 like teenagers playing League of Legends, and they just fucking killed them.
I feel like North Korea is like your grandpa who doesn't understand anything about the world anymore. And if you told him that like you were playing Pokemon Go, he would think that's like a sleeper cell communist program.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that's TikTok, father.
Yo, sleeper cells
Grandfather.
are crazy, by the way.
Yeah. Do you know a lot about them?
Not a whole lot. But
Is that like a Manchurian Candidate where they say a word and you get activated?
yeah, and you just go and like kill.
They did that bit in Family Guy where I'm allowed to say it because I'm Italian, but they had to pick a phrase that nobody would say, and the trigger word was, don't say triggered around me, by the way, I am triggered. But the word was, the phrase was, wow, that Italian family at the table next to us sure is quiet. Pretty good. And then that activated Meg to be a sleeper cell. Anyway.
Yeah, kill John Lennon.
Exactly. But about this porno thing, I get this is the one they all got shipped to Russia because I think North Korea and Russia, like North Korea wants like their troops to get some form of action. I think like just field action, so they like brought them over there, and now they have their like iPhones out and. It says it has been reported that North Korea soldiers have been deployed to Russia and are gorging on pornography after being given unfiltered access to the internet for the first time.
They're
Honestly,
gooning. I think you misread gorging with gooning.
Wait, Meg said gooning the other day, like not knowing fully what it meant. She's like,
Yeah.
like a dog was like making a funny face, like like when they show their teeth, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, he's grimacing, and she's like, he's gooning, and I was like, that is not, he's not gooning.
He might have been. A little
And I was like-
smirk.
I was like, hey, big
Might have been-
smirk,
Might have been gooning.
big smirk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these guys are just horny as hell. The problem is, last time I checked, there's not a lot of privacy in a foxhole.
If it's your first time seeing porn, I'd give you 5 minutes until you don't. You're like, caution is in the wind. You don't care. You're cranking the hog in the foxhole.
If I could go back in time, porn's ruined my brain.
Oh, easily. It's a horrible thing. But God, it's awesome.
I think I thought about that where I'm like, somebody brought this up and they're like, sorry, this might be inappropriate, but they're just like, oh, I remember our whole podcast is inappropriate, but they're like, oh, just to think like your grandfather, he probably saw like, if he was lucky, like 10 pairs of breasts in his life. You know what I mean? Like,
Not my grandpa.
he was gooning.
That man was a dog.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
so funny now. It's like you probably see 10 when you're like 2 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
What was your first pair?
Moving on.
Starship Troopers, man.
Oh, actually, wait. Okay. Besides the notorious pair that we talk about a lot on here, 13 Ghosts.
Oh, yeah, 13 Ghosts, yeah. No, I definitely saw Starship Troopers long before I saw 13 Ghosts.
If 13 Ghosts was my first introduction, I would be a lot more fucked up, I think.
Yeah, that's probably how Korn really survived.
You catch me in the graveyard like with a shovel. I'm like, oh, I'm just hanging out. not doing nothing.
Not doing nothing. Just a freak
but-
on a leash, you know what I mean, man?
I can't really do a good Korn impression.
I'm a
Jonathan Davis impression.
I'm too afraid to try. You know, I'm pretty. I don't. I'm not afraid to embarrass myself, but I think that's the line I draw. Is I don't think I'll ever openly try to imitate Jonathan Davis.
I could do the ooh, wah,
Yeah, a little disturbed.
yeah, that one's good. Anyway, can I get my other one out of the way since it's also porn related?
Go for it. Corn related?
It's all I've been doing.
Porn or corn?
Porn.
Oh, okay.
Because Mattel's Wicked dolls mistakenly list adult film website on packaging. So on the back of
It's easy to do.
the Barbie-esque Mattel Ariana Grande doll, I guess just like any doll that was made from the movie Wicked, they put www.wicked.com.
Yeah.
But I guess they probably needed Wicked movie or something like that because it's funny because if you go, I was like, oh, I just got to see what, just for like research purposes.
Let me do this real quick. Wicked.
It's actually funny because it's like they're kind of packaging it as like a streaming network where they like make like the whole front page doesn't have any nudity on it.
I mean,
It's
there's
like-
definitely some G-strings bent over, but you're not seeing. It does kind of look like Netflix, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tasteful. I was expecting something like pretty raunchy.
Yeah,
But this is
there's not a
great
not a
press.
nipple or a hole on the site. $5 a month, Black Friday sale.
Wow.
We're not
Their
sponsored
content
by
can't be that
Wicked.com. You guys can send us free accounts.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh yeah, because the actual one was wickedmovie.com.
Let's see if we can find a funny. Let's see if we can find a funny title. Blast from the Past is pretty good.
That's an actual movie starring Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
Freak.
he's in this.
Oh, that's where he went for all those years.
Yeah,
He was making the mommy.
the mommy, not the whale, but the mommy.
No, not the mummy, but the mommy.
Oh, okay.
Funny enough, there is a man's penis that falls out of his pants in that movie as well. And then he runs headfirst into a wall. For those who have not listened to our podcast for not that long, you're just gonna have to.
We got a lot of laughs out of that.
Yeah, a lot of guy with penis falling out of his pants. Pretty funny.
Sunny Gold Melons.
Excuse me?
Sunny Gold Melons.
Is that a actress?
It's a movie.
Oh, Sunny Goldmelons.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm only allowed to look at like 10 movie titles, and none of the names are that funny. They
'Cause
must
they're
actually
tasteful.
be. Yeah, they might be like serious. That's
We
a
gotta watch
bummer.
one. Do a movie review.
Yeah. Boy, a lot of awards at the bottom.
An Oscar? Wow.
Yeah, a lot of AVN awards.
When did the Oscars start doing best anal?
I think it's 2006.
Yeah, that was when Brokeback Mountain came out.
Yeah. All right, my news stories.
Good movie.
All right. Self-driving cars are safer than those driven by humans, except when it's dusk, dawn, or the vehicle is turning.
Wait, what?
These self-driving cars, they're pretty safe when they're not moving.
No, but the turning is a issue.
Yeah, it's an issue.
Oh, they're just smashing into people. Yeah, they've hit that. I saw a video of like a Tesla, like an old man fell. He tripped over nothing.
Oh, I saw that.
He fell into
That
the
was
street.
actually impressive.
It was impressive. His head would have got straight up run over. Like his head was like by the wheel.
Golden melons.
And crushed like a golden melon. But the Tesla turned quickly and smashed into another car. Obviously, it saved this man's life.
Yeah.
But now there's instead of a car with just some schmutz on its wheel, now we have two damaged cars. I know you might be thinking, is brain matter schmutz?
It might be.
But we're glad that man is alive, and
Yeah.
that was a pretty good one. But I also heard that they're just like lighting people up.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know.
I can tell you one thing. If I was getting in a self-driving car, it would not be a Tesla self-driving car.
I don't think I'm not really interested in getting a self-driving car. I'm like,
No.
I'm
Just
not
more
even
time
getting
to
on
jack off, you know?
I'm not even getting on a fucking Boeing.
My wife's like, why are you going to Portland again? Don't ask questions.
Wait, why? Wait, you jack off in Portland?
No, I was making a joke that I was like setting up like a decently long drive, but not too long of a drive, so I could jack
Okay.
off in my self-driving car.
Goon.
I could goon all the way to Portland, and then turn it
That's-
around and come back and goon all the way back.
That's the problem. You goon, grab the wheel and another person. The Gooner kills 14th person this week. Local Gooner.
So I got one more here, and I think you're going to like this one. This one has a special place for this podcast.
You're going to like the way you look.
I guarantee it. 132 hamsters reportedly broke loose on a passenger plane, forcing it out of service for days.
Oh my God, that is...
You know, those little bastards were climbing into every gear and every hydraulic it could see.
Yeah, and they like chewing shit, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, yeah. What's crazy is when they took off, they only had 3 hamsters in the cage.
I get it. That's pretty good.
Actually,
they used to have 300, but a couple of the hamsters ate most of their children.
They peaked at 400, and then they ended up with 132.
That's a really good sequel, Hamsters on a Plane. You remember Snakes on a Plane?
Well, yeah, of course. But the top comment on this Reddit is coming 2025, Cocaine Hamsters on a Plane starring Samuel L. Jackson. So
Okay, so I'm not that original.
no, but
Why-
I scrolled. I didn't see anybody make my joke.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think you're thinking of rabbits.
No, I think hamsters are the same though. I think they fuck like crazy.
Oh, really? God, what's wrong with you? Why are you so horny this evening?
I'm not.
Dude, all you keep talking about is hamster fucking.
I said
And
one
gooning.
thing.
And running
I
over
said
an old
couple.
man. Your 3 fetishes.
Those are the
Said
big
I.
3.
Bat Squatch shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Anyway. Was there cocaine on that plane, by the way?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say there's cocaine on every plane.
Was Chet Hanks on that plane?
Probably.
Okay. Should we get into these stories?
Probably.
Okay. Now, David, do you ever get a little scared that a random person might kill you out of nowhere?
Yes.
Well, do you ever get a little scared that a
Yes.
person obsessed with true crime might randomly kill you? Looks into camera at everyone listening to this episode.
I feel like they got to be like the number 1 suspects these days. People are a little too into it.
Yeah. We're talking about you freaks. All you freaks. Oh, I'm a bully? Oh, what are you going to do? Leave a bad comment? Don't do it. But I'm going to say, don't get any ideas, campers, because today I'm going to tell you about a woman who is just that. A true crime obsessed fan who tried to plan the perfect crime just to see what all this true crime hubbub was about. Only thing is, she literally sucks at all aspects of this crime. So today, we tell you the tall tale of the killer Jung Yoojung. And it's kind of crazy because this took place in 2023. This is like very recent.
Okay.
It took place in South Korea, but nonetheless, very recent.
Pretty far.
So, what?
Pretty far.
Pretty far.
Yeah,
They
South
can't.
Korea. It's pretty far away.
They can't kill me. I'm pretty far.
Too far for any man-made bullet.
Hear that, South Koreans? You can't get me. There's no way.
It's impossible.
All your planes are filled with hamsters. You can't leave. Anyway, so born in 1999, Jung. So this is a woman, by the way, Jung Yoojung. She.
I mean, you said true crime, so I assumed.
You know what? It's true. Okay, there is beef I have with this because I go, every time somebody goes like, I like true crime, and I go, oh, that's cool, and they go, and I get it, I do get it, but a lot of women go like, I like it because it informs me, it keeps me informed about how to protect myself from all those killers out there. I'm like, shut up, you're a freak just like me. You you have a morbid curiosity.
Lean into it.
Yeah, exactly. Just, give a whoop whoop, you juggalo freak. Come on. Get
We're
me
all
down
afraid
with
of
the
the
clown.
killer.
The killer is out there,
He is.
and we all want to be protected against the killer, but we all like to, we like to get a little weird sometimes and listen to a story about a person that got their their head chopped off, and you're like, whoa.
So that's what happened?
Actually, I can't remember. Maybe. Let's see. So, born in 1999, Jung lived with her grandfather in Busan. Train to Busan, good movie. Her mother deserted her when she was just 1 year old, and then by her father when she was 6. That's very sad. Yeah. I don't like that. But you know what? I breaking the stereotypes. Dad stayed around a little bit longer. Usually Dad's like gone first, so
yeah.
You know?
Usually the first one out.
Yeah, we got a couple more years, and then he was like, I'm still going to abandon you at 6 years old. And I'm like, oh God, like just not good parents overall. Yeah. But luckily, like I said, she lived with her grandfather, who was a very nice man, it seems. She completed her secondary education in 2018 at the age of 19, but since then remained unemployed through her numerous unsuccessful attempts to get into university. At the time of the events, she was preparing for competitive examinations for civil service. So this is something I feel like we don't have here in America, but I think to be like a civil servant, like in the government or in kind of any government position, I don't know if it's just like working for the Department of Power or whatever, but you have to take this like test apparently, and I guess I kind of looked into it because I was more curious than not, but I think the test is like pretty hard. Okay. So it's almost like the bar, but for government workers. And I think she was like, well, I'm not getting into university, I'm not really, so I'm just gonna try to get into government, start making money, and all I have to do is pass this test and I have a job or whatever. So she started training for that. Although she was preparing to become a hardworking model citizen, as we all know, unemployment can be a bitch that sends you into a spiral. We've all been there, right? We've all couldn't get a job at one point. Oh, yeah. You see, while Jung was waiting to take her test, she developed a hobby of watching crime shows and reading murder stories, which, to be fair, most people who are out of a job, including myself, would do from time to time. Yeah. And of course, of many shows, podcasts, and internet black holes, she had learned what it took to cover up a crime and conceal and dispose of a body. Okay, here's my thing. Mm-hmm. I've had that inkling. You know, you watch a show and you're like, yeah, I could probably like figure out a way to get rid of a body that nobody would find it. Yeah. I've never tried. Can you believe it?
Not really.
Do you believe me? Say you
no.
Believe me. But I just don't think. I think it's very strange to me that like, obviously there's something mentally unhinged with this person to begin with. Because most people go like, oh, yeah, like, here's how you would do it, ha, ha, ha. Oh, don't use bleach in the back of your car because then they could turn on that black light and they saw you use bleach. So definitely don't do that. And here's where you put the thing. And I think she thought, like, yeah, I could do that. But then she was like, yeah, I'm just going to, like, go act on it without, like, a second thought. Because I think most people go, yeah, I cover it up. But the problem is committing the crime in the first place. Because, like, the shit, I don't know. You hear these people. I'm sorry. I've watched these like documentaries before. People are like, yeah, like they're like in prison and they're like, I killed somebody, and they're like, yeah, and then I didn't know what to do with the body, so I just started chopping off the head. I was like, I would be like right there, I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm good. Like I don't think I'm gonna. If I accidentally killed somebody, I'd be like, I'm either getting caught or I'm moving you in one piece. There's no way I'm dismembering a body, ever.
Yeah, ever. That'd be a hard part.
Yeah, I saw this one, God, I can't remember what documentary it was, but I saw this one documentary where this guy, he probably had like anger problems or something, killed this person, like clearly not into it, into murder, still did it. Yeah. But the guy was like, it was so gross. I had to cut her up. It was so gross. I'm like, are you really trying to like pretend? I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, anyway, I digress. But as they say, those who can't do murder. As she began to get the urge. Okay. Well, I mean, she wasn't getting into anywhere and couldn't get a job, and you know, not saying that's an option, but if it was for her. And as she began to get the urge to act out on her newfound knowledge in a real-life scenario, she began to collect her tools. I need my tools.
I gotta mention something real quick.
What?
So I checked our map, and we have had 417 episodes played in South Korea. Do you think there's any chance she listened to us? This is probably where she got over bad ideas.
Did we give any there would be signs. Did she put a wig on the body? Did she ballroom dance with it through the house?
Did she talk about invisible dogs?
Yes, she feed it whiskey.
Well,
was
someone
this
listened to us in Rwanda.
Okay, that's dark.
The
are
Isle
you
of Man.
wait? Are you trying to say that we are responsible for the
No.
genocide?
No. No.
Don Cheadle calls me up. He's like, "Hey, motherfucker, I know what you guys did." Anyway,
We got one play in Ethiopia, too.
okay, enough of this. But that's right. Jung began to plan the perfect murder. As the Busan police later revealed, she had well researched on the modus operandi, one of which was learning from books she borrowed from a local library. First off, there's no way for you to get information from the internet or from the library that is not being tracked. Like, I don't know. You'd have to steal books from the library. That's the only way you would be able to get these. Like,
But also, like, what books? What books? You know?
like a cookbook?
Like, yeah, what books are helping her?
Like how to spatchcock a chicken?
That's not
That
a
might-
word.
Yes, it is. Google it right now. Google it right now.
Spatchcock.
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 You think I'm a fucking joke.
A cooking technique that involves removing the backbone of a bird and flattening it so it cooks more evenly and quickly. Jesus Christ.
Slide it right under a door.
I just run it over with my bike. And that cooks off.
The tire marks. Hey, people go,
It
I love
cooks
the
off.
I love the char marks. I'm like, that's not char.
I always
That's a-
borrow my neighbor's mountain bike for the chickens.
I'm like, that's specialized. And he's like, oh, you cooked it in a specialized way? You're like, yeah,
Put on my
sure.
Bowflex in the backyard, baby.
It's not my specialized bike. So, so we're just gonna go through all the fucking things she fucked up. So the library record showed Jung borrowed many books on crime in the past months. So just crime books, but what no book at the library could tell her was who she would choose as a victim. Sure, her grandpa would be an easy kill. We've all thought about killing our grandpa, but she would be the first person they looked at, of course. It had to be a stranger, but a stranger she could get close to in an isolated area. That's when it clicked. What job do you do, David? Where you don't really know somebody, but you get really close to them really quickly in an isolated area.
Garbage pickup?
Close. Tutor.
Tutor.
Yes. So she began.
Who'd she tutor and she couldn't pass a test?
Another. Don't get me started, brother. She wasn't really showing up to tutor. How long do you put on the ruse before you pull out the knife?
Tutor? I barely know her.
I just walk in and fart and be like, I think I misunderstood the job description. She died.
$14 of Taco Bell out the door.
She died when I farted, but when I tooted. So, Jung signed up for a tutoring app. Once again, paper trail. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, here's my address. Here's my credit card.
Yeah. Where she disguised herself as a parent as she began to browse her list of potential vulnerable female home tutors. First off, this is not a good idea, since it leaves a digital trail back to her as the last person to meet with her, with the victim. By May 2023, she approached 54 tutors posing as a mother of a... Oh, okay. I take it back. She wasn't being a tutor. She was saying, my 9th grade daughter needs a tutor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that dumbass wasn't tutoring anyone. We can call her a dumbass. She's a murderer. I don't care about her.
That's fine.
So, but I love how 54 tutors were like, nah, dog. It's going to be a no from me, dog. Like, what did this chick must have been fucking weird.
Yeah. Probably.
If the parents looked at that 1-year-old and was like, you're weird, and then they're like, I'm going to Disneyland, and they left, I'm just kidding. I don't blame the baby. But I just mean 54 tutors were like, no, these text messages are fucking weird. Because you usually don't get 54 denials on a tutoring app.
Yeah, that's rough.
So she was posing as a mother of a 9th grade student who needed an English tutor. I'm not sure how all those conversations went, but obviously she wasn't very good, or there wouldn't have been 54 attempts. So I wrote that in. But in late May 2023, she found a willing tutor, a 26-year-old freelance worker, and a university student who was living in the southeastern area of Busan. To this day, the victim's name has been held from the public.
Oh, damn, okay.
But, I mean, it is kind of a new crime.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't want to release the name, but like I said, a lot of people I feel obviously like shame around being conned, somebody being tricked. So
it's tomfoolery.
I feel bad because it's like not her fault. Obviously, like what the fuck? You never think someone's gonna be a murderer. So Jung contacted the female tutor who agreed for a home lesson to her fictitious daughter. She had bought a school uniform. This is, again, weird. I don't get this. She had bought a school uniform from an online seller. That she then disguised herself as a schoolgirl and went to the tutor's residence on May 26, 2023. Being of short stature, the tutor easily took her as a student and willingly led her into the house. I'm slightly okay with the disguise in general because it keeps you from being placed at the crime scene so easily. Okay. But it seems like the only person who saw her in the uniform up close was the victim who she was planning on killing. So I kind of don't understand the uniform itself because, as we're going to find out, she didn't really try to dodge CCTV and she immediately changed out of the uniform. So I'm like, I think she was like, all these plans were like half-baked.
No, I get it, though, because if you're on CCTV in the uniform, you change out of it so then you don't get blood all over it, and then you put it back on, you slip on out.
So I'll keep going, and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
So it's unclear exactly what took place in the apartment, since I'm guessing they either did not release the details, they probably just didn't release the details because it's a newer case, or once again, they don't want any of the fine details about what actually happened in there to be out for the protection, for the sake of like the victim. But there are some details, one detail, and that it was that Jung stabbed the tutor with a well-prepared weapon, not specified, weirdly, for over 110 times.
Oh, Jesus.
Once again, bad way to kill someone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say I'm the guru or don't like take advice from me, but like, there's one thing I know about stabbing a waterbed 110 times, you're going to have water everywhere, buddy. You know?
Not just that, but that increases your chance of harming yourself, too. And then you'll have a knife wound.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who like, they look at their hands and they're like, why do you have this like one like on the bottom of your hand where you would be holding a knife? And be like, oh, yeah. I don't know. So
well, I saw like a stat once that's like once you hit a certain point, like there's a good chance that the knife would be so bloody that your hand would slip and you would end up cutting yourself on the blade with your hand too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, and by the way, this is kind of weird because it sounds like we're trying to like be like, oh, she should have done it like this, but like the whole crux of this story was that she was like, I want to see what this whole murder thing's about, and I'm going to plan the perfect crime, and you did.
Maybe the details they're keeping from us are the ones that made it so obvious because they don't want to tell people, like, oh, it's obvious because of this, so then people don't see it and then think, oh, I need to not do that.
Interesting. Yeah, like, okay, fair enough. So I also think just like South Korea might just have very different policies when it comes to crime or murder.
They don't have the bloodlust we have.
I don't think so. I think they're very. I know South Korea has like a really high suicide rate too. I think it has like one of the highest suicide rates. I don't know why, but
I think that's Japan.
I think South. Oh, God, this is morbid. This is a morbid podcast. Rate by country.
Or is
Sorry,
it China? It might be China.
You're learning though. Suicide rate by country 2024. Why is that a website? It's not a website. It's World Population Review, and it says what? Okay, this is suicide per 100K, but it says Greenland, but nobody lives in Greenland. South Korea is number 4 though, because Greenland, Guyana, Lithuania, South Korea, Russia, Suriname, Nauru, Ukraine. Yeah. Anyway, Japan's not on here. I think it's also just because like there's so many people in Japan and China that like.
Yeah, I just know like there's such a big pressure of like succeeding academically
and personally. Like
yeah, and I know
Japan's like trying to force people to like have sex.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll give you Sundays off. You know they have like 6-day work weeks in certain Asian countries?
I did not know that. That sounds fucking awful.
I know. I was like, Jesus Christ. I don't want to be a white monkey anymore.
I think I could be a white monkey 7 days a week.
For those of you who don't know, a white monkey is when a Chinese company? Is it Chinese?
Japanese.
Japanese companies hires a white person to just be at their company because
it's typically an attractive white male.
Oh.
And it's at large businesses, and they just have them like sit in on meetings, and they don't say a word, they don't participate, they don't know what the fuck's going on, but it just looks good from like their culture standpoint to have like a American man sitting in. And like you're like a showpiece.
Yeah, and that's why in America, since it's like America already has like a lot of white men here, so what I do with my company is I hire a really tall albino gentleman. I go whiter, and I make him
stand behind a bush.
Yeah, actually, I put him behind the snacks in the vending machine. So like when you're getting like your Snickers bar, your bag of chips, you'll see something. Yeah, no, you'll see something for like a second. Like if you take enough of the Fritos, you'll get like a view of his shoulder, and it's really scary.
I thought when you push in the button, like the pale hand would come out and like slowly pick it up and drop it.
That's probably better. It's like one of those, like the Pepsi ones where it's like the robo arm. It's like it's like that, but his arm,
and it somehow takes like 6 times longer than the ones that just drop.
You don't see once it goes down, you don't see it for like a good 30 seconds, and then you get it, and there's like a sip missing from every bottle.
Yeah, there's bite marks in it.
Yeah. I like this idea. Whiter monkey is what our business is called. Scary. We always close the deal.
Always, because they're too scared to say no.
Sure, we give the albino guy a knife and make him stand by their car. But, God, do we make good floor mats? We have a floor mat company. That's what it is.
Yeah, we do.
We sell floor mats. Okay, so footage of a security camera showed that after the kill, she went back to her home to bring a black trolley suitcase. So she left the murder scene to walk back to her house, directly to her house on CCTV, and got a suitcase. She then went to a nearby store to buy garbage bags and bleach.
Oh, yeah. Bone saw.
Yeah. Returning to the victim's house, she dismembered the body and
installed a garbage disposal in the kitchen.
She dismembered the body and packed the remains into the suitcase. I don't know. It's just like, it's very like Murder 101. And I was like, if you just don't like... And then she severed the victim's fingers to make biometric identification difficult, and also kept the victim's mobile phone ID card and wallet.
What about teeth?
See, thank you for saying that. That's exactly what I was going to say, is that she went to the effort of taking the fingertips off, and you're like, okay, there goes the fingerprints, but then she left the teeth in, and I'm like, dental records are a thing. So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why we're trying to, like, logicize a clearly demented
A botched
person.
murder.
Yeah.
She botched it.
But the plan was to make a scene of traceless disappearance, a quote-unquote perfect crime, as the police reported. When she left the victim's house, she had removed the blood-stained school uniform and got changed in the victim's clothes. Okay, that's...
Good idea.
Once again... Yeah, but she walked in...
I'm joking, by
with
the way.
Oh.
Has, like, the victim's name, like, written on the sleeve.
Well, it does make it look like the victim left.
True.
So, like, you go, okay, but, like, your DNA is all over those clothes now. You have to burn them, whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't think she even fucking did that. We'll get into it. She took a taxi and dumped the suitcase and its contents in a secluded forest near Nakdong River in Yangsan, South Gyeongsang Province. She took a fucking taxi.
No.
So, suspicious of Jung's behavior and actions, particularly noticing Jung's blood-soaked suitcase, the taxi driver informed the police, who immediately made an investigation. Like, you gotta have a license if you want to murder somebody, right?
You know, it's bad when the taxi driver's ratting you out, you know?
That's when you don't get stingy with the tip.
Yeah.
It's not even your money. You took her wallet.
Yeah, true.
She probably didn't tip.
Probably didn't tip. Probably would have taken like $5 to keep his lips zipped up.
I know. $5 and a little air freshener. There you go, bud. That's for you. That's for you. So the police located the abandoned suitcase. She just tossed it in the woods. Like, throw it in the fucking water.
Yeah.
Like, what? Found the abandoned suitcase and found the body remains therein. On May 27th, the police arrested Jung and found the bloodstained clothes and body parts in her house. So she took the fingertips home probably, huh?
Little snack.
Oh, the snack.
A little sneaky snack for late night.
Finger food.
Finger.
But why the fuck would she take the bloody clothes home? Like, what?
Amateur.
Anyway, so Jung showed no remorse or attempt to deny her involvement in the murder. However, she initially said that she took the body only when she found the victim was killed by somebody else. Okay, so I have to say, I've been down this rabbit hole recently of YouTube videos of police interrogating people who have committed murders.
Okay. It is interesting.
And it's so fascinating. Yeah. Like, they'll interview, like, I've seen them interview, like, you know, a 30-something-year-old man or, like, an 18-year-old kid. And it's really interesting how you could the video prefaces by being like, oh, this guy murdered somebody. But you could immediately tell when somebody is lying.
Yeah.
Because their emotions don't match. They're like, hey, just to let you know, we found your wife, Susan. What do you mean you found her? What does that mean? What does that mean? And they go, we found her head was cut off. And he's like, oh, boy.
Oh, no.
He goes,
what do you mean by that? Oh, no.
Oh, brother. Wait.
Oh, no.
Does that mean I'm not going to make my shift tonight at the bar?
Do I need to call into work?
He goes, oh, frick. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
She
you
was
gotta
supposed
be
to make...
freaking kidding me. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving?
He
Oh,
goes,
frick.
He goes, typical. It's my birthday next week. She wanted to buy me a present. It's just, like, very funny to watch people be like, they don't cry. But the other thing is, when you catch them, multiple people I've seen, they'll catch them and they go, so we know the body. We know Susan was at your house that night. And they always go, she fell and she hit her head and no one ever believes me. They would have thought I killed her, so I had to get rid of the body because I get blamed for everything. And I was like,
they turn themselves into the victim.
exactly. And I'm like, yeah. I think if you just called the police, I think it would have been a lot better. But anyway, so this is very funny. But she said she found the body, and then she decided to cut it up and take the fingertips and put it in a suitcase because that's what the tutor would have wanted. Like, we had a discussion right before she taught me math, and she said, I was wondering what it felt like to be cut up and put in a suitcase.
I don't know. I feel my whole life have felt weird being whole. I feel like if I ever passed away, like I would just want to be in pieces. You know, I've always felt uncomfortable with all of my fingertips and my fingerprints. I just want them off my body. I don't think I would be able to rest peacefully with all of my body parts.
I just like, do you ever feel like you were born in the wrong body? I feel like I was like supposed to be born in a Samsonite suitcase. You're like, what? I could fix. And then you get the guy from Holes, and he's like, I could fix that. Sam from Holes.
Gus from Psych.
Don't just say it. Oh yeah, that is Gus from Psych. You're right.
Yeah, there you go.
So Bassoon, after they're like, okay, I don't think you found the body. Bassoon, she changed her story, and she said that she accidentally killed the victim in an argument, which is like another thing you see all the time in these videos. They're like, we got in a fight, and I gently pushed her, and she flew down 40 flights of stairs, like, and her head fell off. And you're like, what? They're like, it was self-defense. So as the police found several irregularities in her accounts, her family urged her to tell the truth, after which she made a full confession. And on June 2nd, she made a public apology that she was out of her mind and declared that she was really sorry for the victim's family.
I'm
it's
so
like,
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
once
sorry.
again.
I didn't mean to.
I thought she wanted. I kept the little fingertips if you guys want those.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
I'm just a baby.
I'm just a baby.
So, the Busan District Court held the first trial of Jung on July 14, 2023. In the court, her motive was described as rooted on a feeling of resentment and anger toward her family, helplessness due to continued failures such as college entrance and employment. She pleaded for a mild sentence, claiming that hallucinations and a host of mental health issues compelled her to kill. Phone call, and just to be honest, I do think this woman has some mental illness, but
yeah,
I don't think it's the mental illness where you can be absolved of your crimes.
Yeah.
Like she knew what she was doing. It was just like a dissociative disorder, I think, if anything.
Yeah.
Narcissistic or so. Phone call record played in the court indicated that Jung had given death threats to her father a few days before the murder. I guess she still talks to her father, who abandoned her, which is fucked, but I guess they're reconnecting.
He just wants the fame.
Yeah. No, he got a few death threats before the murder. So. But internet browsing history also revealed that she had searched for methods to kill and dispose bodies. She also spent a shit ton of time on Wicked.com and watching the movie Golden Melons over and over again.
Yeah. Multiple times a day.
That was false. But police also found that a day before the murder, on May 25th, she invited a young woman for a walk near Nakdong River. By the sidewalk they took, but the sidewalk they took was full of passerbys, hence no chance of murder. Jung had also tried to lure a teenage boy at the same location, but the boy got suspicious over the online chat and refused to meet her. Once again. On November 24, 2023, the court issued a verdict of guilty of homicide, desecration, and abandonment of a corpse, and the presiding judge ruled that Jung had no mental illness that prompted the murder, as she claimed, and that her act was a carefully planned and executed ordeal. While the prosecution expected a death penalty, she was given a life sentence. Her apologies and lawyer pleas for reduced sentence were denied, and the court decided that the crime was a deliberate and premeditated act. She was further sentenced to wear a location tracking device for 30 years and will be eligible for parole in 20 years. Dude, The future is now.
That's crazy.
They're chipping ex-cons.
I mean, why not?
Honestly,
They're
it's
probably
not,
more reliable than like the ankle braces.
or just having to check in with a parole officer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the prosecution, just to end this, the prosecution appealed for a harder sentence to the Supreme Court on November 28th, while Jung applied for a reduced sentence. So the prosecution was like, we want the death penalty, and then Jung's lawyers were like, we want a reduced sentence. So they're both like kind of going for the opposite of what they got. Neither were happy. And the Supreme Court announced its decision that Jung's life sentence was justified. And according to the court, the judgment was based on circumstantial factors such as the offender's age, behavior, background, and motive for the murder. They also they do have the death penalty in South Korea, but it hasn't been used since like 97. So some people are still sentenced to death, but they just die naturally. So according to Lee Soo-jung, a forensic psychology professor at Konkgi University, Jung's conduct was most unusual, as most murderers would be terrified, and Jung showed no sign of panic or tension. That's why I think that she has like a dissociative or narcissistic disorder. Like, I don't care who you are, most people be fucking scared that they killed somebody. And she's like, I don't care. And Lee further suggested the main motive could be that Jung wanted to steal the victim's identity in the light of her taking the ID and wallet based on her failure to get university enrollment. I kind of get that. I
also feel like she would admit to that if that was the case.
Maybe, but she also seems like too proud in a way.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't admit to the other stuff. She was like, no, I found the body. And obviously she was just trying to be not guilty. And by the time that she was guilty, you think that she would just spill all the beans. But I think it's too embarrassing to be like, I couldn't get a job and I failed and I couldn't get into university. So I tried to kill somebody to use their identity because I'm like too stupid or whatever. And that's not fair. I don't think you're too stupid if you don't get into a university, but you know what I mean? Where like she felt, I think that it was a combination of like she didn't know that she felt like inadequate, and she was watching a lot of true crime documentaries, and I think she was like, wow, I feel pretty powerless right now. If I kill somebody, I'll probably feel powerful. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my 2 cents.
It's possible.
Yeah. So that's the story of, I forgot her name already, but it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
She's chipped.
Good
She's
stuff.
chipped. We can find her. Oh, she's in the river again. Fuck. We gotta find her. Oh my God, how fast is she going? She's not even in a car. She doesn't have a license. How's she go 95 miles per hour?
She's too fast. Too fast for the chip.
Too fast.
All right, Tobin. It's been a while, and let's say when I learned about the name of this cryptid, for as small of information there is and how hard it was to find anything about it, I just couldn't pass it up because it's so good. This is the Dildo Monster of Dildo Pond.
Oh my God. This is why you're so horny. Fuck.
So Dildo is a local service district and a designated place in the Canadian province of Newfoundland.
That's like all the way to the right. That's like the easternmost part of Canada, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
North America, I think.
Yeah, possibly. And so it's in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador on the island of Newfoundland. It is located, so it's located the southern eastern dildo arm of Trinity Bay, about 100 kilometers west of St. John's.
Okay, wait. I was trying to see if dildo had any other definition, and via the Cambridge or is it Oxford Dictionary, Dave's still laughing. Dildo is an object shaped like and used in place of a penis for giving sexual pleasure.
Yeah.
Or a rude word for a stupid person, especially a man. We dildos.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean anything that could be associated with.
Well, I'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
But so and then there's South Dildo is a community located to the south. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, and in 2021, Dildo had 195 residents. It is known for its unusual name. Now, the name of Dildo came.
I think it's a good name, to be completely honest. Like, if it wasn't associated with a dildo,
Yeah,
I think
it's a fun name.
it's I almost just said it feels good in your mouth.
Coming out of your mouth and back in.
Back
Now,
out.
the area of dildo claims that the name dildo predates whatever else the word could mean, being that it was named in 1711.
Those fuckers ruined their reputation.
Yeah.
Paul Dildo fucked them.
So, for all we know, the word dildo could have came from this area.
Dildos can't come.
Some do. From the name might have came from this area, being that the geography of the area is very phallic, like Florida. Another fun fact is that dildo was highlighted many times by talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, who dildo decided to make an honorary mayor. So that's fun.
Huh. Well, they're saying the word dildo is from the late 1500s. What the fuck?
Maybe.
Italians part of the word diletto, meaning to delight.
So that's a different word.
Yeah, I think they're trying to find the origins of dildo, but
Yeah.
still interesting that dildo is such an old word.
Yeah. Been having as long as trees grew branches, we've had them. You know what I mean?
Wait, someone just watched Evil Dead? Jesus Christ.
So yeah, that was a little dildo history for you. Now, when I said there's not a lot of information on the Dildo Monster, I meant it. I only have a small
Forgot
article.
there's a monster involved, to be completely honest. Fuck.
I only have a small article that is from December 9th, 1950, and it's scanned. And to enlarge the article, I would have to pay and make an account at like newspaper.com.
No.
Not happening. It did give me a prompt to save it to my ancestry.com. Don't know that's a thing. You know what? Somewhere I have my mother's login to ancestry.com because she spent like a year like building that thing out, and I could easily find that and add it in. So I will attempt to extract the information from the thumbnail. Wish me luck here. I will say, after reading this article from the thumbnail, I had a headache afterwards of trying to read the very small, like, blurry print. And I know there's a few words in here that I was like, I don't know what the fuck that says, but we'll roll with it.
Let's hear it.
So the article is by Margaret Francis, and it reads, when Newfoundlander meets British Columbian, the representative from Canada's newest province is inclined to point out fraternally that the two provinces have much in common. But he often adds, our sea monster is bigger and more authenticated than your two monsters. A little cocky.
Wait. Cocky, I get it.
No.
But wait, is he bragging about Dildo Monster?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Are you trying to say there's another place nearby that has two?
Yeah. Canada had two.
Were they balls?
Well, no, I swear we talked about one of them once because the name sounds so familiar. Ogopogo?
Okay.
Ogopogo, and this was one of the words that I could not see what it was. I probably could have Googled it and found it, but I think this is what it is. Cadborius.
That's the other monster.
Yeah, have a new Canadian rival, the monster of Dildo Pond, of whose existence say Newfoundlanders, there isn't the slightest doubt. Again, this news article is from 1950, so like they wrote different. They wrote, the way that they did that, they did different.
Little different.
It's a little different. Dildo Pond is a freshwater lasklet. I think that might have been one of the other words. I was like, lasklet. A quarter of a mile inland from Dildo Harbor, which is near the head of Trinity Bay.
It's near the head.
Across the Avalon Peninsula from St. John's.
Trinity sounds like somebody who would be a fan of Dildo Bay.
So on the west bank,
Wicked.com. This is brought to you by Wicked.com.
This is a Wicked.com sponsorship. You guys didn't know this, but this whole episode's been brought to you by Wicked.com.
Oh, God.
On the west bank of the... Oh, you know what? This is supposed to say 6. On the west bank of the 6-mile-long pond is Blaketown.
The 6-inch long pond?
6-mile-long pond.
Oh, I think you said 6-inch.
Maybe. I don't think I did. I think that's on your mind, but... So yeah, it's a settlement of some 60 homes huddling around 4 sawmills. Why don't they just make it one?
I was gonna say. Wow, I know where I shouldn't open up a sawmill.
Yeah, seriously, I think they got enough.
I think they could use a McDonald's.
Breakfast sandwiches?
Oh, you know, go right in the middle of those, a Foot Locker.
Them sawmills, they need them sneakers to play basketball in.
Honestly, the only thing I keep thinking of right now is I'm not saying your monster doesn't exist. I would never say that, okay? But out of all of them, this one might. Just gonna say. Okay. But what I would say is that if my small town, I feel like is not doing great financially, you know, our economy's not booming. What's the first thing you fucking do? Yeah. You go, you create some lore, you put a statue in the town, you put a site where it happened and a placard there, and in the middle of downtown you put the Mothman or some shit. And people will come and buy little stuffed animals that look like your monster. They'll buy dildos from your town.
They got people going to West Virginia.
Exactly.
Just for the Mothman shit. They're crazy.
They got people going down into hollers. I can't, once you get down in a holler, you can't crawl out of one.
So, where was I here? Yeah, 4 sawmills. Of Blaketon, between 200 and 300 inhabitants, 15 of them adults of unquestioned integrity have declared that they're willing to go before this is one of the words I could not read. I think it said magistrate, which I'm going to assume
magistrate.
Magistrate,
like a judge.
Okay, that makes sense. Going for a magistrate and swear an affidavit that they have seen the monster. Dildosus.
A dildosus.
You know, I don't want to say it like that because that takes away from the word dildo. I want that to be very clear. So
you want that to hit hard.
Yeah, I want to hit it hard on that. Dildosus, as he could be called, takes regular bows, and Blaketowners are now saying that they don't like the gleam in his watery eyes.
Wait. Okay, Dildo Sus is the name of the monster.
I think the writer just like made it up.
Okay, but they're saying he takes regular bows, as in he stands out of the water and bows to people.
So again, bows was one word that very hard to read, and I couldn't think of what it could have been. So maybe I was thinking like coming up out of the water and going back down.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Like
How does it
breaching,
spell?
kind of?
Yeah, I kind of like a Nessie kind of.
Yeah,
like
I
a
mean,
dolphin.
from what I was seeing, it was BOWS. But again, this word was like very hard to decipher from the thumbnail article.
Well, a bow is a curved stroke forming a part of a letter, so I think you're kind of right. I think it's like probably...
Yeah, I think it's kind of breaching, but not like jumping out, just kind of like
Yeah.
surfacing and going back down.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, it takes regular bows, and the Blake Towners are now saying that they don't like the gleam in his watery eyes, even if their reptilian friend does have certain attractions for tourists. So like you're saying, like they're like, even if he does bring people here, like we don't want him.
Well, that makes the story even better.
Yeah,
He's a Frankenstein's monster, you know? They're chasing him with torches.
Oh, that word comes back up. Don't worry about it.
Whoa.
So surprisingly, most descriptions of the creature are are very similar.
Was it Larry?
It's actually a creature feature starring the creature.
Starting the fuck you guy? Fuck you.
So yeah, the descriptions are very similar. Most quoted Arthurian is Norman Mercer, a sane and sober 41-year-old sawmill owner.
Wow, he really had to lead with that, huh?
I love how the writer said sane and sober.
Because the other three sawmill owners are fucking like running their penis through the table saw and being like, "Can I have a dildo? Actually, I need that. I'm neither sane nor sober, and also dickless."
So Norman Mercer, who has seen the monster several times, he was standing outside of his pondside mill one day when suddenly I heard water swirling and splashing, and there was the monster approaching the bank. He shouted for his brother and two workmen to join him, and so Mr. Mercer can produce witnesses to the incident as well, except for just himself. Concluding his story, the monster paid no attention to us, and it came within a few feet our logs before us, turning and swimming away. As it turned, it lashed the water into a boiling foam, and 10-foot logs a foot in diameter were tossed on end and thrown about like matchsticks.
Wait, what did he grab up on the shore?
No, he didn't grab it. He was swimming up, and then he saw them, and it turned and swam away. But when it turned, it launched
Strong.
10-foot big logs like they're matchsticks.
Oh, I thought it like crawled out of the water. Never mind.
No.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, so Mr. Mercer and others who have seen it describe the monster as being about 50 feet in length with a head about 3 feet long, shaped like an eel's, with a
Wait.
bulging...
Did they say it was 50 feet in length?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, it's a pond. Like,
It's a 6-mile long pond.
okay. I guess that'd be a lake at that point.
I've seen smaller lakes.
Yeah, I gotta see what the definition of pond is now.
I know, right? Maybe our definition's different than it is in Newfoundland.
True. A small body of still water formed naturally or by hollowing or embanking. So small is the second word. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, they said the monster is about 50 feet in length with a head about 3 feet long, shaped like an eel's with bulging frog-like eyes, about the size of water glasses. I don't know if that means the rim. I don't know if that means the height. I don't know if it means the bottom. I don't know what type of water glasses they got. The 5-foot neck is slimier than the body, which is described as about the size of a rum casket.
What? A rum cask?
Yeah, rum cask. And I think rum is mentioned a few times. This place must really like their rum.
They must be from the 1500s.
Oh, and it's 1950 when this was made.
Oh, okay.
This was first wrote.
Okay.
So the tail is shaped like the tailpiece of an airplane, a 50s airplane, and it seems to swim with the implement, being the tail, head out of water and moving steadily at a great rate of speed without. This is one of the other words that I couldn't really make out, and this isn't spell checking it, so this must be a real word. Indolations.
Oh, I don't know what that means. Indolations?
Indolations. Where is the define? The action of moving smoothly up and down.
We're learning a lot today, guys.
50s yapping is teaching us. So indolations of a water snake. The monster makes an excellent boogeyman and discipline story for the town. The Blake
no pleasure
Town
in
children,
yourself.
No jacking off near the lake or the pond. So the Blankentown children are forbidden to play near the pond or go outside at night. Most of them don't seem like they want to anyways. So yeah, it's a good way to make sure no kids, drown or anything like that.
Don't go near the pond or the sawmill.
Yes. The sawmill's fine. The kids can go. The kids can go to the sawmill.
No, the other three monsters are the non-sober, non-sane mill operators.
So youngsters aren't the only victims. At one time, the pond teemed with salmon and trout. These have almost disappeared since the creature made its first appearance in the Creature feature, starring the Creature, appearance about 60 years ago. So this came out in 1950. This is talking about its first appearance 60 years ago. So we're talking 1890.
What?
Yeah. So first reports of the Dildo Pond's inhabitant came from a Norwegian named Nielsen. One name. Don't know if it's first or last. Just all we got's Nielsen.
He's the guy that does the TV ratings.
So Nielsen set up a experimental fish hatchery, as well as kept ducks on one of the pond's 2 islands. So maybe there's other islands. I don't know what that was referring to.
This pond is getting bigger as we tell the story.
Truly. So the monster appeared to him one eerie dawn, and his ducks departed, and then so did Nielsen. So the ducks flew out, and he goes, "Not good enough for the ducks. It's not good enough for me."
Tony Soprano ass.
Yeah. For the next half century, the monster appeared at intervals of several years, mostly to fishermen and hunters, always when they were alone. So the story was more like kind of scoffed at between that time, because it was just always random people by themselves saying, "I saw this thing." Yeah, sure. But it was more attributed more to the potency of Newfoundland rum.
Oh,
so, there goes again, saying that, oh yeah, all these hunters and fishermen were drunk and they saw shit.
Yeah, they got that. Fuck, what's it called? What's that alcohol that it's like green and it's made from like
absinthe.
Yes, absinthe.
Yeah, absinthe. Yeah,
they got that absinthe rum with that wormwood in that shit.
I had a friend who drank absinthe in Nolans, and he jumped in the swamp and tried to wrestle an alligator. It took 3 people to get him to shore.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've heard. I don't know if I believe you or not, but I heard that like if you actually do like certain apps, like the ones they sell in stores, do not make you hallucinate.
No, you have to like get like homemade stuff because
Yeah.
that's like the national liquor of the Czech Republic.
I was gonna say it's like way bigger in Europe from what I remember.
This shit's nasty. I mean, I've had like I've never had like the real stuff. I had the fake stuff, and it tastes fucking awful.
What is it? Is it like licoricey? What is it?
Yeah, it's licoricey. It's kind of like Jägermeister, but
Anise.
like 10 times worse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like that. Jaeger's okay if you dunk it in something.
What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to burn sugar over it. They have like special spoons that have holes in it. You put the spoon on top of it. You burn the sugar so it melts into it. Then you take the shot, so it's a little sweeter.
Little creme brulee shot.
Yeah, if you do that, it's fine. But if you're not spending like 10 minutes for one shot and you're just drinking it, it's awful.
Literally a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
That's where it came from.
I don't think that's true, but Mary Poppins is like, you guys ever fucking got fucked up on absinthe?
That's why she was dancing with penguins in fucking tuxedos, man.
She's like, jump out this window. This umbrella will hold us.
Can't feel anything when you're on the absinthe, baby.
They're like, 4 children and a nanny dead today. Jumped out of a window. Their blood alcohol content was crazy. Dick Van Dyke is
legal limit.
Dick Van Dyke is still trapped in the chimney and suffocating as we speak. Back to you, Reggie.
So, about 5 years ago, it became 5 years ago, as in 1945. It became more publicly conscious and took up a regular beat a few yards off of shore in front of Blaketown, and the villagers' vow began regarding them.
What the fuck?
This is probably
Did you
one
just
of the
curse me?
So basically, what they're saying, I think what they're trying to say is that, like, a bunch of villagers saw it like come up to shore, and it began regarding them with a hungry look in its eyes. This is also, I think, why they don't really like the thing too much. They were convinced
it had a regarded look in its eyes.
I didn't write this. For the record, I just retyped this article.
Would you or would you not say it's regarded?
That's what it says.
Okay.
Well, it says regarding them with a hungry look.
Okay.
They are convinced that having eaten all the fish in the pond, it is ruminating on the digestibility of chubby little Newfoundlanders.
Oh.
They speculate as to whether or not it will, in time, find out how to wiggle on land and set out on a food foraging foray.
Yeah, I'm picturing like Augustus Gloop right now, just getting ripped into that pond.
Oh no!
When I'm fresh out of salmon, I always just try to find the little children in town.
The slowest ones, yeah.
Yep.
So they speculate too, as is inevitable, as to how the monster came to Dildo Pond. Scientists who have come to listen to the tales and hope for a personal appearance, it only appears for natives, by the way, suggests it came up.
It knows.
It knows.
Show me your fucking ID.
Yeah. Suggests it came up of one of the shallow brooks connecting to the pond with the saltwater Trinity Bay when it was a little wiggler. That must have been a much more popular word because it's the second time they've used that. Not a
little wiggler.
Yeah, a little wiggler wiggled up the bay or up the brook. And it stuffed itself on so many fat dildo salmon.
Not fat dildo salmon.
Yeah, it stuffed itself with so many fat dildo salmon that it couldn't get back down to the sea. The people of the town, however, believe that Nielsen, the Norwegian, was the Dr. Frankenstein of the case.
Whoa.
One of the Norwegians' hobbies, they say their parents told them, was experimenting with crossing the various types of fish eggs and spawns. In this case, he produced more than he bargained for and didn't have the courage to claim his own monster.
Hey, you guys, remember how I was trying to like start a fish hatchery up by the pond? I made an evil fucking fish.
Remember when I was trying to make a really, really big salmon that you only needed one for like 10 people to eat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made something that ate all of the salmon.
We got no more salmon, and Rick, your son's mutilated horribly.
You really
Sorry.
fucked that kid up.
I fucking made evil fish. I knew I shouldn't have fucked that big fish. It took all the evil parts of me and put it in the fish.
What's worse than salmon and trout? Evil salmon with a side of horror trout.
Oh, Larry.
So now 60 years later, the inhabitant of...
Wait.
What?
Was it evil fish? Or was it funky fish?
It might have been Funky Fish.
Funky Burger?
Might have been Funky Burger. I don't know what you're doing.
That's the other fucking cat thing. He's like, he thought he was eating evil burger. Turns out it was Funky Burger and it bust a move. My brain is fucking rotten from TikTok. Help me, God.
It's dripping out of your ears.
It is.
So now 60 years later, the inhabitant of Blaketown are wondering if, having failed to destroy its creator, it intends to start on them. Oof. So that is the singular piece of writing that I could find on the Dildo Monster. I mean, you guys can look too. Unfortunately, I will admit we are not the first people to talk about it on a podcast, because when you search this thing, it's mostly just like 3 other podcasts that have talked about it. None are as good as us. I listened to all of them.
Oh, they're all bad. They stink.
I'm kidding. I didn't listen to any of them.
Just kidding. They're good.
But I just like, yeah, this was literally the only thing I could find about it. So what do you guys think? Are the scientists right? Did that monster travel upstream and got into the lake and grew too big to leave? Is it possible this was a man-made monster through crossbreeding and science? Or could it just be a prehistoric survivor hailing from the prehistoric ages?
I think that regardless of the Dildo Monster's authenticity or where he's at right now, I think the town really dropped the ball. I think Newfoundland has
They should have
to
capitalized on it.
They have 4 probably fucking haunting sawmills, or at least one probably still standing.
There's no way that out of the 4 sawmills, there's not one that's haunted.
Exactly. And you're right next to a cryptid lake. I feel like you literally have a tour just brewing right there in front of you. You're just
And this
like,
was
waiting to
1950.
capitalize.
They could have easily popped out another attraction.
Yeah, and you could
They could have
throw
they could have there's only like 200 people there. They could have made up like a giant serial killer that killed a bunch of people and lied about it, and it would have
yeah, and just like lived in the
no one
woods.
questioned it.
They could
And
have
he
like
escaped it. They never caught him.
and just start a tour, like put Funky Burger in the water, and he'll move around, and people will be like, "Is that Funky Burger?" And you're like, "No, that's evil fish," and they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'm
with
just
a side
saying,
of horror trout.
yeah, and I'm just saying, just like start hawking dildos, because obviously you didn't change your
Monster.
town name, so you're okay with
Monster
it.
dildos.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, start. Yeah, okay.
I don't mean in size. I mean in like shape.
Okay, you know that website? I told you about that website.
Is it the one that has like the Halo Elite?
No, it's like called Bad Dragon, and like you
Yeah,
can buy,
no,
like,
I think
you can
yeah,
buy like
no,
a dragon dildo.
you didn't tell me about it, but I do have a friend that will just send us links from it. That it's
insane.
it's a different friend group. You don't know these. You know these guys. You know some of the guys, but childhood friends.
Colby did it.
No, that's college friends. I'm talking childhood friends.
Oh.
Colby says hi, by the way. I was talking to him before we started
Hey.
recording.
Hey, what's up? Anyway, I'm just saying, like, just merch it out, you know? Put some dildos in there. One could even look like the whole monster. It's a slippery little long boy, you know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that eel head with frog eyes. I don't know. Could be good.
it's doing something to me already. I'm getting
That rum cask neck.
Girth McGurk.
And then you got that airplane tail.
They should just name him Girthy. That should be his name. He doesn't even have a name.
I think it's Dildo Sus.
Girthy the Dildo Monster? Are you kidding me? Like, we're sitting on a fucking gold mine. Gold mine. Jesus Christ. My mind is somewhere else.
Yeah, it's rotten. It's gone bad.
Rotten.
So good.
Funky burger. Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
That's it, guys. That's all we have for you.
We did it.
So we did it, and we hope you enjoyed it. We love telling you stories, and we love you. Stick around and listen. If you guys want any more information, go to our Camp Strange podcast on Instagram. We'll post a picture of a big dildo. And if you want anything else, click the link in the bio. There's like merch and rate, review, and subscribe. Nice reviews. I did not harass anybody's family. He wishes I fucking did. That guy's probably begging.
I wish you did. I mean, if we got the review, I wish you actually did.
I know. People, so they posted to the group chat, and I'm glad that no one actually thought. I think some people might think I did it. DM his fucking wife and his family. Shut up.
To be honest, I even checked our DMs to see if you did like DM.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Not that I thought that you would have started it, but seeing if you replied to something they sent.
No. I'm like, dude, I don't care enough. Like, it's all just like silly, like, pot shots back and forth in the comment section of. I'm not gonna take it off Instagram. Not gonna get in the DMs even. You know.
Yeah.
Not worth it. The only reason I do it is for the fanfare. I want my fans to see my retorts. You know. I'm not gonna bring it to private just so he can see it. That's not fun. I'm not gonna box you in the backyard with no one around. I want to box you in an arena.
Yeah, like that one YouTube channel that has like that fake UFC thing in the backyard, and people are like, "I'm challenging Jeff from Jiffy Lube on Fairfax."
Oh my god, yes, they're like backyard fights, like the two most out of shape people you've ever seen in your life, and there's like, it's like
and you watch it and you
like
remind yourself, you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm not in fighting shape at all.
It's
this
like
would be a bad thing.
It's like an 80-year-old with dementia versus like a guy in a wheelchair, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm watching it. Anyway, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you once again for tuning in, David. Do you have anything to say before we officially get the hell out of here?
Yeah. So just a reminder that today we're sponsored by Wicked.com. Use promo code CampStrangePodcast at Wicked.com for an additional $5 off. That means you guys. That means you guys can get a free month on Wicked.com using our promo code. That's just for this month, though. I believe at the beginning of next year, it's going to go back up to $19.99 a month. So give it that month trial, see if it's worth your time, your money. Yeah. So again, that's Wicked.com, promo code CampStrange Podcast. And you actually, when you use our creator code, you get to see our playlist, our favorites, Tobin and I's favorites from the website. So go check those out, see what we're watching.
Also, if you use our creator code FuckShitPiss, you can get 20% off the Camp Strain Dildo collection. You have to guess which penis is whose, but they did mold them. And it's not our fault that their casts are smaller than a normal. It's the cast that's this.
Yeah,
they're running out of rubber.
There is a Band-Aid on one, but they told us that it would be like not to take it off because it looked worse under the Band-Aid.
Yeah, the warts are a part of their mold. That's like it's like imperfect. They fucked up in the factory. And the curve, like
the 90 degree was their idea, not ours.
their whole like marketing thing, like we want to fuck you from around the corner, and like and. If you're listening to this, wow, you're getting a little treat. This is fun.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Ignore the scars.
it's crazy how they still stink too.
Yeah.
How does the smell stick to a fucking mold? Like it's a new piece of rubber, but it still
it's
stinks like
crazy.
my dick. I mean, like one of our dicks.
You're gonna, don't let the package sit on your front doorstep for too long because the neighborhood dogs are gonna go crazy trying to get it. They're gonna be busting out windows to come get that box. So
and if you're
meet the delivery man at the door to get the box.
if you're wondering like if it looks like a lollipop that got dropped on a barbershop floor, the hair is usually all over, even including the tip. So it's kind of normal. And actually, a lot of Europeans have that. So
Yeah,
it's not like.
We were told it was cool.
Okay, I think we're done. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Also, it repeats any words you say back to it, like that dancing cactus. At a higher pitch. It's really good. Okay.
It's a fun time.
Okay, and don't forget to stay strange.